Welcome to Wala to Walasa, your weekly Labour Digest program on Clock TV, Beyond the Policy. The program captures the untold stories of guidance associations and unions, their struggles, their victories, and their role in the national development agenda. I am your host, Edmond Akwe. You can watch Clock TV on all our social media handles, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and Channel 184 on GoTV. Today, our responsiveness is on one of the most visible and influential unions in Ghana's daily life, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU of TUC. With its roots in post-colonial era and former establishment in 1967, GPRTU emerged as a response to the growing needs of commercial drivers, vehicle owners, transport operators. Over the decades, it has become a household name, representing thousands of drivers and serving as the backbone of public transport in Ghana. Beyond managing transport stations and ensuring discipline on the roads, GPRTU has been a key voice in labor negotiations, policy advocacy, and the welfare of its members. From fuel price hikes to road safety campaigns, the union has stood at the center of Ghana's transport sector. To help us understand this remarkable journey, we are joined in the studio by Mr. Samuel Amoah, the Deputy PRO, National PRO for the great union, GPRTU. You are welcome, sir, to Wala to Walasa.
Thank you, Eddie, for having me here.
Very well. And how your members doing? Your leadership, your members?
GPRTU from, number one to the last point, everyone is doing just well.
Great.
It's just that the drivers are complaining a bit.
Drivers always complain. We'll come to that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so to begin with, GPRTU is a household name in Ghana.
That's correct.
Okay, more especially when it comes to transportation, for which is your core mandate as a union, organizing drivers, organizing all other stakeholders who are involved in transportation. Can you tell us the beginning of GPRTU in our nation?
All right, thank you very much, Eddie. GPRTU formerly was called Motor Union.
Motor Union.
Motor Union, and it was formed in 1935. So Motor Union has been in existence from 1935. Then in 1967, that is 19th of May, 1967.
19th of May,
1967. The name was changed to Ghana Private Road Transport Union of TUC. That is GPRTU as we know today. So that is how come the whole thing came about. Way back in 1935, drivers, some of the transport operators, came together and understand that there is the possibility to come together for them to form a union that will fight towards one goal. So that is how come the Motor Union, came to an existence. Then after independence to, Kwame Nkrumah's era, when Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown, and then, they decided to bring this name, Ghana Private Road Transport Union of TUC. That is what I just mentioned. That is on the 19th of May, 1967. So GPRTU, from that time was led by some, key leadership, of which most of the names were not recorded.
Very well.
Yeah.
We would come to that.
Sure.
But let us look at the transport situation in Ghana around that time, time of independence. After independence, we know we had the Omnibus Service Authority, which was state-owned. What happened to the Omnibus services? Can you tell us something about it, the Omnibus service, OSA?
Yeah, the OSA buses. Yes. During those days, the OSA buses were operating. That was for the government.
But the state-owned,
Yes, the state-owned. Then the GPRTU, we came to understand that their services wasn't that enough, all right? So that is how come, GPRTU also decided to come together and form their own association.
So it means, from what you are saying, it means that OSA was not able to satisfy the
transport needs
of
the nation at that time. So that is how come the private sector also decided to come in.
We were also told that so talking about the private sector, GPRTU started by when private individuals have their bus and they will stand by the roadside and start shouting, Mokola, Mokola.
That's correct. And by then, there was not that, the recognition was not there that time. Okay. So that is how come some of the leadership sat and they said, okay, fine. Then it's hard time for them to come together. Okay. All right, to uniform it, to come up with something that will be recognized. That is how come the GPRTU, came to an existence.
Great.
Yeah.
You can continue. You were on a
So by then, there were some key leaders, that put these ideas together. But then by then, names were not recorded, at that time. But
would you say around that time, GPRTU was made up of more of, I don't want to use the word illiterates, but they were not.
Yes. Let me use this word. Then it was, somebody say it was Buga Buga
system.
Yeah, it was Buga Buga system. Because it was like people try to fight, the idea.
Yeah.
And if you are not strong enough, you can't just, put the idea to reality. So that time it wasn't, like the way it is today. It wasn't like the way it is today. Yeah. Then in 1980, I will boldly say that it's GPRTU that that brought democracy into the nation. Yes.
1980 was a military
Yes, 1980. It was 1980 that we decided that before we will elect leaders, or we choose leaders to lead the union, we must go through a democratic way by, voting.
Okay.
So the voting started from 1980. By then, Ghana was, in a military rule. Okay. But we started we brought the democracy into, the transport sector. Okay. So our first quadrennial delegate Congress was started in 1980.
Okay, then, so talking about the democracy, you mean that within your union, you put up structures that could allow voting to take place to elect your leaders.
That's right. That, like, it will not be the olden Buga style again, all right? And people will come up with their choices, right? True. They have the right to decide on who has to be their leader. So it was started way back in 1980 up to today. Yeah. And as I'm speaking to you now, we have had, 11th quadrennial delegate Congress. Then it means that, we are 44 years now. 44 years. When we decided to, come up with this democratic way of choosing our leadership.
Which has helped now.
Which has helped so very much. Because before then, there was not much understanding. Before you realize, they were fighting about leadership. This one says that, I started it. This one says that, no, I have to be on these positions and all that. Yeah. But from internally. But from 1990, there has been, a mutual understanding, among the union. Yes.
That's good. Talking about that, let's look at your scope of membership. After that, we'll look at your structure just a little bit. Okay. So where can we find GPRTU? Who are the core members who make up GPRTUs?
Okay. So GPRTU is a transport operators union, all right? And the union was formed, and the aims and objective is that the aims was that to bring all transport operators, the drivers, the union guards together to form under one umbrella.
Okay.
All right. So whoever as a member of a GPRTU has something to do with transportation.
Transportation.
That's correct.
Okay, so
that's correct.
So understanding you, let me pick a vehicle owner, somebody who owns a bus,
owns a
and
bus,
decided to run it commercially.
Yeah, that's correct.
The owner would become a GPRTU.
A GPRTU member.
Now, the driver of that particular bus
can also become a GPRTU member.
How about the mate?
The mate, the mate, because he's a driver's mate, all right, before he can also be enrolled to be a member, unless maybe he has a valid license and,
can also drive.
Yeah, can also drive before you can also be enrolled to be a member of the
regulations. So where can we find your members in Ghana?
GPRTU is all over the country now. We have been covered. We are covered with all the the 16 regions. We are everywhere. And as I'm speaking to you now, we have about 1,300 plus branches all over the country.
What would be your total membership?
Yeah, the membership, I cannot be specific now, but we have the total branches, right? The total branches that forms the union. About 1,300
thereabouts.
Yeah, about 1,353 thereabout.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Scattered all over the country.
Scattered all over the country, yeah.
Okay. Ensuring transportation
That's right.
goes on.
That's right.
Okay, so would we say that GPRTU collapsed Omnibus or Omnibus Service Authority, USA?
You see, I said earlier on that their services wasn't enough.
Okay.
And at the same time, things that are being owned by the state, sometimes the maintenance aspect of it is something else. So if a private man owns a vehicle and is using it for a business, he knows very well that this is what I do for a living. So he will make sure that you maintain it. That is why at a point the OSA, went off, and now GPRTU has taken over.
And you can find GPRTU all over the country.
Yeah.
Now let's look at GPRTU in itself. Okay, your structure. You would have, let's say, a national body. I want you to break it down for us.
Correct.
That's correct. To the last
end. Okay, yes. So GPRTU has the national body.
Okay.
That is the National Secretariat.
Great.
The National Secretariat has 7, elected officers. That is the national chairman, the national vice chairman, the general secretary, the deputy general secretary in charge of administration. We have the deputy general secretary in charge of operations. We have the national first trustee, that is the treasurer, then the national second trustee. Okay. So these are the 7 elected officers that holds the association at the highest level.
Great.
All right. Then from there we come down to the regional level. The regional level also, we have the regional chairman, we have the regional vice chairman, we have the regional first trustee, and the regional second trustee. So in GPRTU, the regional level, we have 4 elected officers that holds the regional office. But then the IROs are being appointed, the industrial relations officer, that they are doing the secretariat work.
Okay,
all right, so they are appointees. Yes. So the region can decide to appoint 2 IROs
to handle the administrative issues.
Exactly. Yeah. But they are not being elected. Yes. They are appointees. Then from the regional level, then we come down to the branch level. Okay. The branch level also has 5 elected officers. All right. That is the chairman, the branch chairman, the branch vice chairman, the branch secretary, the branch first trustee, and the branch second trustee. So that is the branch level. Then from the branch level, we come down to the local level. That is the last level.
Okay.
All right, that is the last level. The local levels also, it goes same like the branch side. That is the local chairman, local vice, local secretary, first trustee, and second trustee. So what happens is, the locals report to branches.
Yes. So the you do the communication.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
walk us
So,
through.
okay, so yeah, so when the local has any challenges, they don't jump to the region. They report to their branch. All right, so because it's the branch that gives birth to the locals. Yeah. So the branches also report to
the region they are under.
Exactly. Then the region also reports to the national. So that is how the structure is.
It's the same way it cascades from top to down. I asked this because of the nature of your membership.
Sure.
I'm sure you find a lot of semi-illiterates within your member because of drivers and mates and not necessarily vehicle owners. So I asked that to clarify how your communication flow goes on.
Good.
Because there has been a number of instances whereby national will communicate, yet the branch people will say, we don't agree with national on a number of issues. We'll come to that. But just to clarify for now. So currently, looking at GPRTU from historical time to now, how would you say the union has performed?
Thank you very much. You see, now I can boldly say that, formerly they used to say that the GPRTU, all the leadership are illiterate and we don't learn, and it's like we only drive. But I can boldly say that now GPRTU has a leadership that are learned, that are level-headed. Yes, and from the time GPRTU was started to now, we have seen a lot of improvement. Now GPRTU, owns buses. All right, that belongs to the unions. Okay, that belongs to the.
Can you mention some?
Yeah.
So the buses that GPRTU.
Yes, we have the Yutong. Some of the Yutong buses are being owned by the GPRTU. Some of this Toyota. The latest Toyota.
The one that goes to Kumasi.
Yes, the GPRTU owns some of them. And there are buildings, most of offices that also, being owned by GPRTU. I can use, Ashaiman for example. When it comes to Ashaiman, GPRTU owns a very, big 2 buildings, one for offices, and quite recently another one has been built for, stores, and, has rented it to.
The association invest into the economy.
Invest into it. All right. So other areas, Takoradi, Kumasi, the northern region, the Bunafu region, and other places. There are improvements, and also I can also boldly say that now members of GPRTU, most of them owns their houses. Before it wasn't like that, but with the help of the current leadership, from some time to this time, there has been a structure where they will organize themselves for them to acquire a land. They will help them to build, and now I can boldly say that we have estates that are being owned by GPRTU.
That's amazing. We didn't have known this particular, so we have drivers who have estates they are staying in. Yes. Trotro drivers, bus drivers.
Exactly. When you go to La Paz Station, La Paz Station, they have a driver's estate. Odona Station, they have their estate. That is only the drivers that has occupied the place. The union bought the land, started building for them. Some other places, I can mention more, So now it's not like before that, somebody will be driving up to a certain age and, will be frustrated and all that. Now there has been a serious improvement in the transport sector when you talk about GPRTU.
So you were touching on how you are providing some form of welfare for your members.
That's
and you mentioned about housing, schemes whereby some of the drivers have estates they are staying in, and for that matter, it makes them more relaxed and feel at home and more belonging. Now, let's look at GPRTU in itself. Okay, today, what is the core mandate of GPRTU if it's supposed to still operate as the largest transport providing sector in our country.
Yes. Now, what the GPRTU is doing is, you see, there are areas that most of the time people find it difficult to, to be transported, and GPRTU is trying this time. Quite recently, the national officers travel outside for some negotiations to get more vehicles because, the government is not providing us vehicles, so we have to do it by ourselves. So now what we want to do is, we are trying to do is to get more vehicles, for, our services, all right? And, most of the vehicles to their state now is not that good, and we are trying as hard as we can to make sure that those, vehicles that are not roadworthy will be off the road, and we'll try and get more vehicles, good vehicles for our clients or our passengers to be enjoyed.
Very well, viewers, our conversation is getting very interesting. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll look at GPRTU itself dealing with its social partners and the role they are actually playing within the transport system in Ghana. We'll be right back.
Ghana is in an era where evidence-based policy making is fundamental. Policy Pulse seeks to bring clarity, transparency, and accountability into focus, demystifying public service and government business for the citizenry while also sparking informed dialogue. It provides an emergent, non-partisan platform for examining the role of the public service in shaping governance and public service delivery in Ghana. This series offers a comprehensive dive into the policies, frameworks, and operations guiding public service institutions, analyzing how they align with national development goals and how they affect the everyday lives of Ghanaians. Policy Pulse will also provide an outlook on public policies behind emergent public agenda, exploring policy gaps, challenges, and its implementation.
Lifestyle Extra. You called, we answered. This is your extended lifestyle show that touches on every aspect of our lives, be it health, fashion, sports, business, and so much more.
We've got you covered. We are here to share the exciting moments, the tough
Welcome back, viewers, and we are still in our studio, and we have here with us Mr. Samuel Amoah, who has been walking us through GPRTU when it all began. Now, Mr. Amoah, thank you once again.
You're welcome.
Let me ask you, tell us about a practical situation of a branch, how a branch of GPRTU, let's say a Sherman branch, a particular lorry station, how they operate.
Okay, so what happens at branches is that, I usually say that the region doesn't have a loading point. And the branch level, how the operation goes is like they have the vehicles that plies at, various routes. Okay. So before, you become a branch, let me explain this for your viewers to understand.
Very well.
Before you will become a branch, the branch status, you must have about 100 membership. All right? 100 membership for you to become, a branch. All right? To apply to the region to become a branch.
Yes.
Then you must also have vehicles. All right? And you have to also provide with the routes that you want to apply. All right. So let me use my branch as an example. That we apply Ashaiman traffic light to Tema. We apply Ashaiman traffic light to Lebanon Zenu. We apply Ashaiman traffic light to Afienya. All right. So we submit this, we submit this application to the region. The region will check to find out that those routes, all right, that we are, applying, there will not be any, other union that applies the same route, so that it will not bring conflict. All right. So after you've been given the charter, all right, before you can also, be given a branch to operate. We have a branch charter that will be given to you. That is your certificate to operate as a branch. Right. So you apply from your station to your destination. And what happens is, anytime a vehicle, load from the station or picks passengers from the station, you pay your loading fee, of which you used to call booking fee.
Okay.
You pay your fee, and then you load, you go, you come back. The booking fee, what we use...
Must you give booking fee anytime you load? Let's say you load, you come back.
Some pay it for once, daily. Some do it, per trip. Okay. Depending on, the agreement or the understanding between... So the region don't have a specific, regulations that will tell you have to take booking fee for once. Okay. All you need to do is to get a ticket, all right? That at the close of the day or the close of the month, you can use it to, do your account, all right? So that is how the branch operates. Okay. Then at the end of every year, the branch will employ the services of an auditor to audit their account, all right, and read it to the hearing of the members. Okay. And at every quarter, the branch has to call a meeting, all right, a meeting for, the members to, have the opportunity to, come up with their issues, their challenges and all that.
For discussion.
For their discussion, okay. And the branch officers hold office for 4 years. All these, levels that I stated earlier, they hold office for 4 years. That is like, how, the nation elections is. Good. So what happens is, the branch, whenever, as I said earlier, whenever a driver, picks a passenger or load from the station, you pay your booking fee. And we have a structure where before you get to the station, you write your vehicle, number. Then you be
sometimes
in the queue.
passing, you see a blackboard.
Exactly.
Car numbers has been written.
Exactly.
It means, are those the cars that will report at the station that day?
Yes. When you report at the station, then you write your vehicle number. So after this one, then another person will go, so that there will not be any confusion or misunderstandings. Yes. And it goes on at all the various, lorry stations. So that is how. And
the typical branch would work.
Yes. And the branch officers also employ the services of porters, right, to make sure that vehicles will be, passengers will get in the vehicles, and if they have baggages and they can help arrange them. Those that needs to be charged, they will do that and all that. So that is how the branch operates.
Yeah. So would you say that there is visibility when it comes to the extent that a passenger takes a bus or a trotro from one of the stations to a particular destination? So far as the person picks it at the branch, anything that happens would be able to be traced?
Exactly. Because when you go to, the long distance stations, they issue a ticket.
Yes.
So
let's say I'm taking a VIP bus from Accra to Tamale. I'll be given a ticket.
A ticket, all right? And in case maybe there are instances where you need to report, to the station, the vehicle you took.
Because the vehicle number is on the ticket.
Exactly. And even now as I'm speaking to you, GPRTU has even come up with a digital, way of...
That's amazing.
ticketing.
We'd have gone to digitalization, but as you've mentioned, they just touch on it briefly.
Yes. So we got to understand that in our road traffic regulations, all right, there is a particular law that says that before a vehicle will move to more than 30 kilometers away from 50 kilometers away from the station, it means that they must get the passenger manifest. When I say passenger manifest, it means that the passenger who is coming to board the vehicle,
the name?
Must be known.
Must be known. Okay.
Must be known, all right? So you get the name of the passenger, the contact number of the passenger,
and probably the age.
In case, age is not even important, but, in case something happened on the way, whom should we contact?
Okay.
All right? So when we get all this information, then a message will be sent to your phone.
Yeah.
You get a message that on this so and so date, I boarded a vehicle from maybe Kanishi to Takra. The vehicle number so and so. I sat on a seat number so and so. All right. So whenever something happens, then they will quickly contact the next of kin, whoever you give your contact number.
The passenger provides.
Yes. And in case maybe you left something in a vehicle or something of that, so you can just check on your phone and you get all the information. And we have contact numbers too that you can quickly call. Call so that you'll be attended.
I think that's quite a very impressive innovation. Now I want us to go back a little bit, looking at lorry stations. Okay, who gives the prescribed and a proper lorry station to GPRTU to operate?
That's correct. So it's the duty of the assembly.
District assembly.
The district assembly is their duty to provide
because
stations.
There has been a number of instances whereby the residents would not agree that there should be a lorry station
or a
taxi rank around a particular area. So tell me how you go about it.
So it's the duty of the district assembly to provide stations, all right? So when they provide the stations, that is why after GPRTU, has issued you with a charter to operate, the station or the union or the branch has to also write to the district assembly, right? They write to the district assembly to apply for a permit to operate. That is route operational permit. Then the district assembly, their representative will also come and do their inspections, right, before you be issuing with a permit to operate. So it's the district assembly that provides stations, and they make sure that the maintenances of the stations and all that, it's their duty to do that. That is why daily they send their men and their ladies there to collect their daily tools and all that. Yeah, so it's the duty of the assembly to provide stations. Yes. And some of the places, it's quite difficult for the assembly to provide all stations. So because of that, there are some unions that acquire their own lands and has turned it to stations.
When you say unions, certain branches?
Certain branches.
Okay.
Certain branches. Like my branch, Ashama Traffic Light branch. The land we are using now belongs to the GPRTU. Okay. Belongs to the GPRTU. All right. It's not for the assembly. All right. But although it's not for the assembly, but yet we are still operating under the assembly.
Because the assembly has approved of it.
Exactly.
Regardless, although it belongs to you,
Yes, but you can't use it.
It is still a good place for you to use as a lorry station. That's what it
Yes, that is the situation.
Yeah, well, it's good that you mentioned the assembly. If the assembly is having that oversight to ensure that lorry stations are sited at the right place, then it should be a good thing. And we expect that, lorry stations would really be at the right place to,
That's correct.
Avoid unnecessary conflict
That's
between
correct.
the commuters and the residents in the area. Now, let's look at a particular trotro, who wakes up in the morning, a trotro driver wakes up in the morning, does not report to the station, yet would be working that particular day. So would find himself at, let's say, Dankwa Circle, roundabout, would pick passengers from Dankwa Circle to Nungwa, and end there, and now come back again to Dankwa. You wouldn't go to the Nungwa station, but yet maybe a filling station somewhere. Yeah, you call them floating drivers.
Yeah, you call them floating.
How do you deal with those people?
Yes, you see...
Are they your members? Are they part of the union?
After the year 2000, that was when this freedom of association, started, when former President Kufuor took office. So that was when the cooperative came in, the Protoa came in, and all others.
Yeah.
And that also gave the chance for some drivers to also operate without belonging to any of the unions. And it's one of the things that is disturbing the transport sector seriously. Although there is a law, all right, when you, the Road Traffic Regulation, LI 2180 Act 2012, the Regulation 121 stated clearly that before one can be allowed to operate as a commercial transport operator, such operator must belong to an existing transport union. And the law says that if they find you, or the authorities find you operating without belonging to any of the existing union, you have to be arrested and prosecuted and sent to court. And the court has to fine you not less than 25 penalty units, or to a term of 3 months imprisonment, or to both. That is what the law is saying. But as I'm speaking to you now, Eddie, there are drivers that are driving without even belonging to any of the union. That is how come, issues are happening before someone will say a driver is charging unapproved fare, someone has even someone has left a baggage in a vehicle and you cannot trace it and all that. That is how come all these things came into being. So it's quite difficult. Those that belong to our union, if you belong to the union and we find you operating without coming to the station, the next moment you come, you'll be questioned and you'll be sanctioned. We can't just allow it since you are a member. Yeah. But now there are also some of them that are not our members. To them, we find it very difficult to control them since they are not our members. So that is why most of the time we report to the police that they must make sure that the law will take its course. Yeah. That article, must be applied. Yeah. So that there will be, sanity,
It is quite important. Why am I saying this? Because in recent times, commuters between Achimota to Nsawam area face a lot of troubles because of the road in itself.
Sure.
Now, what they say is that when they pick the trotro from Achimota, rush hour around 6:37 in the evening after work, they will go and the trotro will drop them halfway and say, I'll not go again. Yet the final destination is maybe in Nsawam. Yes. They would charge another fare from that end to the final destination. Why some of these things happen? Why did they happen?
We started, receiving these complaints, not even in a great
because it's rather unfair.
Yes, it's unfair. It's unfair. In Kumasi, and the challenge is basically now is in Kumasi and Accra.
Would you say all these people are not your members?
Some of them are our members.
So it is mixed up.
And those that are not our members started it. And because the authorities are not doing anything about it, some of our members also started, joining them. But to our members, if we find you doing that, So we normally come out like if a passenger, picks a vehicle and, such driver is going by doing, some of these things.
Some of this.
They should report, all right? When they report, we'll check to find out if the vehicle belongs to our union. And if you, the driver, we find you doing this, there is a serious sanction that we do for you. And those that don't belong to the union, that is the problem we are facing now. So I remember there was a time I was engaged in, one of these stations, the TV stations, and I was telling them that now it's very difficult to control them because if the driver is not my member, how can I get him to bring sanctions to him?
So if the driver is not a member, does he belong to another transport union?
Most of them don't belong to any of the unions.
They are just floating.
They are just floating. They are just floating. And do you know one funny thing? I do advise the cow owners, some of the cow owners, to some of them, when they buy the vehicles, they come to the station, come and see the station officers. Like, oh, I've got a vehicle and I needed a driver, or let me register with you and all that. But to some of the cow owners too, because they know that those floaters, they do more sales than those that price, in the station.
In the station, so they will not even come.
Yes, because you see, when they just start the car in the morning, they don't put the engine off till they close. And one trick is that the cowners don't know that they disturb the vehicles. If I'm having a car and I'm operating at the station and I buy my engine maybe this year, I can use it for maybe 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
All right. But then the other one that says that, I needed more money. Because of that, I won't come to the station. His maybe within 2 years, he will change it. But if you calculate, then you see that I have gained more than him. Yeah. But they don't know. They don't know. And at the same time, to their health. Because when they sit down, they don't.
So did you see from what you are saying, it means that drivers who are under GPRTU have number of working hours?
Yes. Yes, and as I said earlier, when you come to the station, you come and meet a queue. You write your number. You have time to relax.
Rest.
Most of the station, we have a resting rooms. Yeah. Okay, that is where most of the time we have time for education, talking to them and all that. So in that period, you have time to relax yourself. And even the law, the road traffic regulation even says that one don't have to drive more than 4 years. 4 hours continuously. After 4 hours, you must, rest. Take a break. But to some of the drivers, from morning
to and fro,
to night, he will never rest. That is how come most of the time we do, experience, some accidents on our roads because they are tired. Some drivers, they will be driving and they will be sleeping. Some of them will not even have time to eat. Yes, some of them will not even have time to eat because they know that they have to meet their target. And those are the people that, because the road is not good, because the traffic situation, because passengers are more there, let me do this short thing to get more money.
For the vehicle owner and for he himself as the driver.
Yeah, for himself, yes. You see, I have one instance. There was one car owner who brought his vehicle to the station, and we told her that this is the sales we make. We don't do more than this. They said, as for these sales, there is too small. Then he went away. Then a driver approached. He said, as for me, I can do this. Then he gave the vehicle to the other driver. All right. Within some short, months, then either a police will arrest the driver to take him to court or to maybe take money from him. The vehicle will have
to go and pay.
A whole lot of problems. It's a typical example. We were there when the woman came. That my driver, everyday problem, everyday life. I said, yes, you needed more money. We asked you, see, this is how, because GPRTU, what we do is that we make sure that driver will not cheat a car owner and car owner will not also cheat a driver. Yeah. We make sure that we arrange, the sales
in a way that both parties will benefit. Yes, more especially to the vehicle owner, of course, because he has invested.
Exactly, and make sure that the vehicle owner to the driver who is also working for the vehicle owner, at the end of the month, the driver will also receive his salary. So that is, what normally goes, on around that.
Great submission. Let's look at, talking about road safety, let's look at GPRTU and your social partners. You understand?
Yeah.
Talking about social partners like
Road safety.
yes,
Police,
DVLA.
DVLA. Yeah.
Yes, the Ghana Road Safety Authority and the car or vehicle insurance.
Yeah.
Let's look at these social partners. How do you collaborate with them? At
Sure.
which point in time do you engage DVLA?
Okay, so as you mentioned DVLA, let me start from DVLA. What now we normally do is periodically we do invite the DVLA officers, and for some time now, for some of the drivers to even go to them for their renewals and all that, they even organize and come to the stations to come and do the renewals and for them and for educations and all that. So there is this cordial, relationship with the union and the DVLA in terms of issuing of licenses and all that. Then the next thing also has to do with the Road Safety Authority. The Road Safety Authority too, we do have a collaboration, road educations, collaboration educations. We do invite them to our stations. Sometimes too, they also, write to us. Okay, write to us that at so and so time we want to engage your drivers for an education and seminars and all that. So we do that. Likewise, the police, the MTTD, the MTTD also, we have this relationship with them that most of the time we sometimes go to them, invite them to the station, most especially when the year is getting to an end, during the Christmas era and the Easter era, they come to our stations, do a collaboration, road safety educations and all that. And at the same time too, those that are in charge of the crime sections, they also do come to give education as to how to report, some incident to the police in case maybe a passenger is in your vehicle and you suspect something, there's something fishy about the passenger, maybe making some calls,
or the luggage the passenger is carrying,
or maybe the luggage the person is carrying.
Yes.
So how you handle that situation. Maybe you can drive to a nearest police station. Oh, I want to, urinate and come. Maybe go to the police.
Go and make a report.
Exactly, make a report. I'm suspecting somebody in the car. Can you please come and help me, investigate this? Then they will come, in a way of maybe they will not even go straight to the person,
They might do
before, inspect whoever they want to inspect. So this collaboration and relationship is there with
all these social partners that you work with. Now let us come to one important thing. Common traffic offenses. What are some of the common traffic offenses that your union members, as in the drivers, do commit that comes to your doorstep for you to address?
Number one has to do with the unauthorized parking places. No parkings. Most of the time. You see, one thing is also that let me use Accra as an example. There are areas that the bus stops are not enough, and some of the bus stops too have been occupied. That is why quite recently we came out that there are areas, there are bus stops that traders has taken over and all that, and they should do this decongestion. And we even quoted LI 2180, the regulation to support it.
But you see, come talk about it. Wrong parking from truck drivers. Okay, I will not even mention taxi drivers, but from the bus drivers.
Yeah, sure.
It's something that is happening every day. They see a passenger ahead. The passenger is standing there, stopping you. You are the driver. You know the right place for you to park. The passenger is stopping you at a place that is not a bus stop. Why do you stop when there are other vehicles behind you?
Yes.
You know, I think the members need.
Yes, we do educate them seriously. And one thing that used to disturb them or to confuse them is that, see, when you don't stop to pick that passenger, then another person will also come.
And so it's a competition on the road.
It's a competition on the road. Yeah. But the thing is, you must do the right thing. The right thing. And you know that there is a law in the road traffic regulation that says that if a passenger picks a vehicle at unauthorized place,
both the passenger and the
must be arrested.
Yes.
So the other day I was saying that, like, if the authorities or the law enforcement agency has to, start arresting, some of the passengers, you just arrest the passenger. You don't
put the fear for next time.
So that, because you see, sometimes I remember one time I was in a vehicle. A trotro. I most of the time,
use the trotro. Some of them I don't know you necessarily.
Yes, most of the day I do park my car and I join the trotros to find out what normally happens and all that. So I was in a vehicle, then a passenger stopped the trotro. Then the trotro went to stop. I said, "Hey, master, this is unapproved place for you to stop." So my engineer says, "No, if you stop here, I'll cause you arrest." Then I asked the driver to move to the bus stop. Yeah. The place too was not too far from the bus stop. Yeah. Then they made signal the passenger to walk and come. The passenger refused to come. He didn't come because he knew very well that another person will come and pick him. So this education must be
very important. Do you understand?
Must go deep down so that the passengers will also help the drivers for them to do the right thing.
Anytime the driver refuses to stop, the passenger wonders that I don't know engine. Do you understand?
Some of the passengers can also, sometimes some of them when you tell them, "Madam, please, this is not where you are, man. Please, this is not where you are supposed." Go to the bus stop for us to come and pick you. Yeah. Some of them, they will do that. But in all, you, the driver, that is why they call you a professional driver. You know what to do and what not to do.
At the right time.
At the right time, all right? Great. Because, like Eddie, I cannot just come here and instruct you, like before you want to do your intro, I say, don't do it this way, do it that. Can I do that? No, because that is your field. You are a professional presenter. Yes. I'm only a driver.
I'm the vehicle. I have to position in a way that it will be comfortable for the two of us to be able to...
You get it. So that is one thing the drivers must understand, that I am a trained professional driver that knows what I should do and what not to do.
So in that case, drivers should know how they communicate with passengers, because there have been instances, videos, sometimes on social media showing confusion between the passenger and the driver. Do you understand? Whereby maybe the driver can utter certain words and insults that is not that palatable. Okay. So the drivers, I believe, should be professional enough. We all know that most of them are, school. I don't want to say this, but are not.
It's true. It's true.
So if they decide to become drivers of GPRTU, which is a very big union that has held the transport business in Ghana since time immemorial, since independence till now, then we believe that if I finish GSS or I finish SS and I say I want to be a driver, a professional driver, for that matter, be a member of GPRTU, then I should be prepared to learn the GPRTU rules and regulations, which they draw from the Ghana Road Safety and all other regulatory bodies in the transport system. So going forward, I think your members should know because the insanity on our roads is too much.
It's too much.
We need to do something about it. Traffic offences, you mentioned parking as one. I know there's a lot.
There are a lot of them. Parking at unauthorized places and most of the time
through red lights.
Red light and those ones used to happen.
How about hit and run?
The hit and run, yes, but our union members, we normally don't hit and run. Encounter those report, because the driver knows very well that I have a station, and if my number is being picked,
very well,
they know where to get me. So those complaints we normally don't get them. But this red light, crossing red light, maybe some of the drivers too, maybe some minor faults on the vehicle.
Vehicles,
Yeah,
for that,
maybe
but it breaks down at places that are not, or that
those
good.
minor things. But there are also some of the things that we do check so that they will not be arrested. Like maybe when your insurance is expired, your DVLA is expired, and maybe you worn out tires and all that. Those things, we have porters and guards at most of the stations that do
Make sure
this pre-departure
they
checks before they make
inspect
sure
all
that all those things.
Yes. How about driver behavior when it comes to drunk driving?
Yes, it's one of the areas too that we are very particular about that area. Let me use my station as an example. There was one guy that we find out that he drank and was driving. Then we sanctioned him. We sanctioned him another time. He did it again. Then we gave him an indefinite suspension for some time. So we started monitoring him up to some certain time. Then we find out that now this driver, used to thank some of us so much. It's something that we are very particular about it. That if you find you doing it, we give you your first, because our sanctions, our suspensions don't exceed, your first time offenses don't exceed 3 months. Okay, so when we give you, some weeks or months suspension, if you do same again, then you can be, sacked from the
union, and you can find your way. Drunk driving is very, very bad.
Very, very
and
bad.
as
Very,
drivers,
very bad.
we should be.
And some of them too, there are other drugs that they take. This tramadol and this red, and some of them. Quite recently, we fought. Some guys at the Ashama main terminal, guys that hide to sell those things. We collaborated with the police and we made sure that we started arresting them. We'll find out that some of the drivers and some of the mates do buy it secretly and they will take it. And it's very, very bad. It's serious. One thing that we have to understand is that, we are carrying human lives. I used to say that when you are a doctor and you make a mistake, if a life has to be taken, it's really one. But if a driver makes one mistake, let's just imagine the number of lives that can be taken away.
Thank you very much. If you are making interventions in those areas, I think it's kudos to you. And you must keep it up. Viewers, I'm enjoying my time in the studio with Mr. Samuel Amu, who has been talking to us about transport in Ghana, and as GPRTU, Samuel Amoah, as GPRTU Deputy PRO.
Yes, correct.
He's been doing great in taking us through. When we come back, we'll go to a very interesting topic, and I know most of our viewers are waiting to hear on that: fuel and price hikes in Ghana, the role of the GPRTU. We'll be right back. Walatu Walasa, your Labor Digest program here on Clock TV. We have in our studio Mr. Samuel Amoah, the National Deputy PRO for GPRTU. He has walked us through the number of issues that has occurred within the GPRTU as a union, and how best they are trying to make sure that the union stands in itself, and how drivers or otherwise their members should comport and uphold themselves. Now, let us look at a very important issue. Mr. Samuel Amoah, let's look at fuel price increments and transport price increments. Are they related?
All right, thank you. So, fuel is one of the major components that we use to run our businesses. And anytime that you find out that fuel prices are going up, then, everyone is scared, because definitely it's going to affect, the transport fares. Yeah, so what happens is that there is an agreement with the transport ministries that we don't have to just come up with, a transport fare like that, but before something like that, has to happen, then it means that there has to be an engagement between the transport ministries and then the transport unions, All right, so we have come up with a percentage threshold that is 10%. That any time that the fuel price will rise from where it was to 10% and above, then it means that it's called for, transport fare regulations, all right, or negotiations. So when it happens like that, the union has a team that normally check on the other component, that is the spare parts, the lubricant. If I say the spare parts, the tires, the engines and all that, they are the spare parts that there are many, I can't mention all.
You check the prices of those ones
Those
too.
ones, check on the percentages, the increment percentages. Then we also check on the lubricant. The lubricant, that is the engine oil, the ATF and the brake fluid. Then we also check on the taxes, the DVLA taxes, the insurance taxes, the assembly taxes, and even cost of living. We also factored them into it. Then we put all these things together before we also come up with an increment, a percentage increment. So whenever the fuel prices goes up, this team will do this search. Then they will bring a report to the national officers. Okay. All right. Then the national officers will also, sit down and check. Then they will also, call for National Executive Council meeting. That is the NEC, the National Executive Council meeting. That comprises of all the 16 regions, because before there will be an understanding, all these, bodies has to come together, to reason together to make sure that, we do something that will help, everyone, not to somebody's interest. Yeah. So when it happens like that, then we write a proposal to the transport ministries that, components has been increased from this percentage to this percentage, and that we also want to increase our fares by this percentage. Then we'll sit on a round table for a negotiation. Normally, we will say that we are private entity, all right? Sometimes somebody may say, why is it that before GPRTU arrange transport fares, they have to, fall on the transport ministry before, it will come, since we're private transport operator? Because the other days, I was even saying that the airlines, whenever they want to do their own thing, to increase their fares and all that, they don't contact the ministries. And also do that sell spare parts and others. They also don't have any negotiations to do with the trade ministry. They only come up with their.
But in your case,
but in our case, you see, we serve the whole public and public interest, and then also the passenger don't have the opportunity to negotiate. That is why the transport ministry is there to talk for or to speak for the passengers. So when we meet, we put things together. I remember some time ago we sent 30% increments on table. At the end of the day, we were giving 20. I even remember one day also, I think we sent about 35 or 40. We ended up at Jubilee House, in the time of former President Nana Akufo-Addo. Then we also ended at a certain percentage. So this is how we normally
the process goes through.
This is how the process goes.
So understanding you, if there is 10% increment in fuel prices, then it means that fuel transport fares must
also go up. Right. All right, they must also go up. But the other component that we consider is those that I mentioned,
the spare parts, and the DVLA taxes and all that. Yeah. Great. So how about reduction? When there's fuel price reduction?
Yes. It's the same process. It's the same process.
Has it happened before?
It has happened before. Quite recently, we were asked to reduce it by 15%, of which you did. Quite recently. And when it happens like that, the fuel price went up to, I think, 17 cedis, 18 cedis, thereabout. Yeah. Then it started, coming down. It started dropping. So it started dropping to 13 cedis, 69 pesos. So that was when the transport ministry, quite recently, when the Honorable Joseph Bukari Nikpe took office. So we were invited, and then we were asked to reduce our transport fares They even mentioned, 20%.
Yeah.
By then, we checked and we find out that it's not only the fuel price that we use to run the business.
Yes.
Other, components to play a major part.
So,
all right?
which one was not making the equation to balance? Which of them?
The spare parts. But then the spare parts was still the same. The lubricant were still the same. Insurances and DVLA and all that, they were all still the same. But yet, what they made us understood, or what we know, is that whenever transport fares goes up, it affects everything. Everything also, goes up. So we're asked to reduce so that all those things can also, come down.
So tell us, how about when there's reduction in fuel prices?
Yes,
Does the fare also goes down?
Yeah, the fare also goes down.
Okay.
You see, the fact that we've come up with 10% upward. When it goes up 10%, we increase. When it comes down 10%, we also decrease.
And does it happen?
Reduce. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Quite recently, we were asked to reduce our transport fares, of which everybody in the country, heard of it and they know of it. Yeah. So when the fuel price, dropped down to 13 cedis, 69 pesos, per liter thereabout, we were called to the transport ministry. By then, where it was and where it got to was a 18% reduction. Okay. So when we had that meeting, they made us understand that yes, there is a 18% reduction. And since our target is 10%, then it calls for a reduction. But by then, the other components were still up. Like the spare parts, there was no reduction on the spare parts. There was no reduction on the lubricant, the engine oils and all that. There was no reduction on insurance policies, the DVLA and the assembly taxes. All of them were the same. The market women, there was no, reduction. So we complained. But then we had an understanding that whenever transport fare goes up, that is when things goes up. So immediately we reduce. All of them will also reduce. Of which there was an engagement with the GUTA president and their staff. And they also came up that they have given them a time frame to reduce their staff. So that is how come we also
because now the dollar is performing. Yes. The city is performing
against the dollar.
Yes.
So that is how come we also agreed and reduced it by 15%. But can you imagine, as I'm speaking to you now, spare parts are still the same. There has never been any reduction on spare parts. So drivers are complaining bitterly, these days.
So that also guys must make sure that they reduce their spare parts.
Yes, they must. Because earlier, what the excuses they were using was that
they had already bought it with
the old higher rate and all that, unless they clear their...
But now the system has relaxed in a way. We are almost about 9 months into the dollar being stable.
It's been stable.
The cedi being stable against the dollar. So we expect, we are all part of the system and we should do the right thing to ensure that the system works well and benefits all of us. Now, let's look at what important is moving from transport fare increment and reduction as you have explained. And let us look at GPRTU maintaining standards. When I say standards, I want to talk about standards of the particular trotro. Some of them are too old and rickety. You wear your very nice dress, you sit in knowing that you are going to work. You get down and it is torn. You sit down in a trotro and there's this particular metal from wherever it's coming from, choking you against these bumpy roads. And by the time you get to work, half of your body
you can't even walk
paining you. So, maintaining standards, the trotros that we sit in.
Yeah. So I can say we have not achieved what we want to achieve. We are still working on it seriously. That is why I said earlier on that the current leadership is trying very hard to negotiate with some, outside countries to get, more vehicles to come down so that those bad ones or those
will be taken off. Because looking at vehicle lifespan, I think some of them have overspent their lifespan.
Yes, but comparing it to, before, it's quite
better
now. There are only some few areas that will find, some of the vehicles that are too bad. Myself, sometimes I do see some of them. One day I was driving around Choco area and I saw a certain vehicle. I said, whoa. Then
some of them did not even have lights in the evening.
Yes, I was even trying to locate the station that the vehicle belongs to. And one of the things we also do of late is that we talk to the union executives. We can't be everywhere, but we do anytime we call for a regional council meeting. GPRTU, we have rec meetings and NEC meetings. The regional council meeting, we call it quarterly. So whenever we had that engagement, we do advise them that they should make sure that vehicles that comes to the station are maintained. Yes, and most of the stations, some of the drivers, the union issues them or the branch issues them with a letter to
work on a particular part of the vehicle.
Yeah, the vehicle.
The vehicle is over smoking too much.
Oh yes, we do. Even my station, we do. We write letter to you. Maybe we'll give you 1 week. Send the vehicle away. Make sure that you send the vehicle to a body work, or if maybe the engine is not good, the smoke is too much, make sure that you go and fix it before coming back to the station.
Because come to talk about it, GPRTU has now taken over the transport system in Ghana.
Yeah.
So, yes, the Ministry of Transport is there, but looking at transport delivery itself is being done by GPRTU.
Yes.
Okay, so we expect that you should be able to look at best practices outside and try and introduce them into our country as soon as possible. I think it has been long overdue, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So whereby I know in some developed countries, buses move from one station to a bus stop, stay there for 5 minutes, then moves to another bus stop, stay there for 5 minutes. People, join, moves. People get down, people join, and it's within a particular period of time, so that you know that when I move from the house and I get to the bus stop at 9 a.m., I know that 9:05 the bus will pick me from, let's say, Tema to Nungwa. Yeah. I'll get to Nungwa somewhere around 9:25. If that is my final destination, I get down. If that is not, and it is Osu, then I'll still be in the bus, then I'll be going. Already, I might have paid this pass with a ticketing system that I bought from either my phone or from a vendor. You understand? It's GPRTU thinking about some of these new trends, because I think that would bring about sanity in the transport system. Let's look at that.
Yes.
Do people have?
I think in my earlier submissions I mentioned GPRTU going digital.
Digital, okay.
All right, and we are working on it seriously. That very soon you just pick your phone. You formerly the app was called Oya, but now we have changed it. We are still working on it. The ITs are still working on it. Very soon it will come up. That you just pick your phone, you go to the app. If you want to go to Takoradi, you go and check vehicle that you can get from your destination to Takoradi. You order. Maybe if you want to pick it from the station, you state if you want the vehicle to pick you, along the way. Yeah. You also state. They give you time, they'll come and pick you.
So maybe you want a vehicle to pick you at Winneba.
Yes.
So you get at Winneba.
Yes.
Although it's coming from Accra.
Yes, it's been happening, okay? Yeah. When I told you the app was called Oya.
Oh, yeah.
We started, all right? But now we want to change the app to GPRTU. It's some few stations that are using that app for now, but we just want to, expand it to all the other areas, or the other areas that applies, more than 50 kilometers and all that, because, for the trotro, it will be quite difficult for now. You see, there's one thing that the government has to do. The government has to look into the transport system very critical. I believe that it's the duty of the state to provide, vehicles, all right? And it's not happening like that. Is why now, the private sector, I know the private sector is doing very well. But yet, there must be a collaboration between the private sector, that's the GPRTU, and the government, so that we can get more vehicles. Because nowadays, you see, if you go in for a loan, all right, the interest alone is not easy. All right, and the maintenances and all that. So that is how come you find some of the vehicles being not maintained very well.
When states brought Ayalolo, was the union happy about Ayalolo, GPRTU?
You see, what they have to do is, when you are bringing them, all right, give it to the GPRTU, give it to the unions, negotiate, let us run it. I get in it. You see, now, as I'm speaking to you, when you go to their workshops, they are broken down. They are broken down. The metro mass and all that, they are broken down and they cannot be repaired. And all those vehicles, we think that should the government brought it
into your domain?
Yes, we are in the system. We know how to manage it to serve the nation. I get in it.
So I think going forward, there needs to be a collaboration, a very good collaboration between governments and GPRTU to ensure that our transport system is well established.
Yes.
Why? Because workers suffer a lot. When workers close from work around 5, you look at the bus stations, and workers are queuing for vehicles. Workers standing by the roadside looking for vehicles to get to their home and all. It is so very much irritating and serious. And I think moving forward in 2025 to 2030 and upwards, something must be really must be done to ensure that at least our transport systems are some kind of well established. Because let's look at the bus lane, whereby it is the streets, it is just bus that would pass through that lane. Do you understand? To ensure that bus is not interrupted by any private vehicle. The bus also does not move into the private vehicle's lane. Have you guys thought about that, ensuring a bus lane? Because now the truck moving left and right, then they will hit another person's Mercedes Benz, and now the driver gets down and starts kneeling down begging. Meanwhile, you know that you were not supposed to do that.
You should have a bus lane.
That particular detour that you did to cause that accident. Huh?
You see, that system was introduced. The BRT system was introduced, and some of the places around Accra, they designed the roads, but I don't know why they couldn't continue. But I know that is the duty of the state or the government to make sure or to design rules, like that. Because when this BRT system was brought and they designed some routes that, hey, these routes are meant for the buses to apply those rules alone. It brought some sanity. By then, these buses were not using the same rules as the other vehicles are using. Those specific rules were meant for only those BRT buses. But within some short period, it collapsed.
It stopped.
It stopped.
And the question is, why did it stop? Because I think this was a very good initiative.
Yes, it's a very, very good
help
initiative.
by now, because when you keep doing it, then people will know that if I want to pick a trotro, I have to be on this side of the road.
Exactly.
And for that matter, maybe at this bus stop, and I can join it peacefully.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot for us to look at over there. Now, let's look at, we are wrapping up. Okay. Let's look at GPRTU as a union and as a transport operator in our beloved country, Ghana. What is your mission in itself going forward for our country? How do you want how do you foresee the transport system if we are still handling as GPRTU, collaborating with all other stakeholders? How do you foresee Ghana's transport system in the near future? Okay, so in the near future, what a GPRTU, what should it be only roads, or we should consider railway, which is one important area? You see, aside the roads, the railways can also help to reduce, the traffic congestions, in town, right? And one thing also is that,
most of the challenges we face now is the route. Okay, the route has been one of the major challenges we face, and going forward with our meetings with the government, we do appeal to them that their focus has to be on the roads. And one thing also that the GPRTU is targeting is that in all the 16 regions, our services there will not be as the way it was in terms of vehicle, providing vehicles and providing good, not only vehicles, but good vehicles. Yes. All right. And then also making sure that our drivers will also, be doing the right thing. And at the same time too, our drivers will not also be like, something that they used to say, a common driver that at the end of his service, he will be coming to the station to beg and all that. So now that is why we have even started a driver's pension scheme.
That's amazing.
All right, the driver's pension scheme that will be contributing. All right, will be contributing small. At the time that you cannot drive again, and you go on retirement, because drivers, we don't have a specific age. Specific age. But I remember at my station, I knew of a certain man who was 70 years, but very, very strong and was still driving. The boys used to, when you coffee, say, hey, I'm still strong and I'm working. So if you find
those are the people who even obey the traffic rules.
Yes, because they are very, very careful.
Very careful.
Yeah, the elders that are in the system now, when you see them, you know that, hey, they know what they are doing. Yes. But it's the young ones that, They do the buga. So our target is that we will come up with members that will live up to expectations. Members that at least at the end of their services, they will have somewhere to lay their heads and they will have something small to live on. So these are some of the things, or most of the things that we are working on.
You are working on.
Yes.
Very well. I want to see a transport system in Ghana that is very, very smart. When I say smart, it means that anytime you step out of your home, you are going somewhere, you would get a transport system that is smart, that is reliable, that is more convenient and has your safety. Now, Mr. Samuel Amoah, before I take leave of you, or otherwise, before we close our section, what message do you have? First, there are two people for your members. What do you want to tell them today?
Okay, so what I want to tell...
Secondly, what message you have for government?
Okay.
You can pick any of them.
Okay, so let me talk to my members first. So I'm with them.
Okay,
all right, so to my members, what I'll tell my members is that all drivers that applies the rule that they should obey all the traffic regulations, making sure that there will not be accident on our roads. And then also, if you are driving and you are tired, the law says that you have to rest for at least 30 minutes. If you drive, you can't drive more than 4 hours, continuously. And at the same time, within the day, you don't have to also drive more than 8 hours. Relax yourself. And then also, the overspeeding is also killing, it's taking lives. If you are driving, drive, with appropriate speed that you have to use. And at the same time, also, when, you are not supposed to overtake, don't do that. Let's make sure that we take our passengers to their destinations and bring them back, safely. And also know how to communicate with, the passengers is very, very important. Then let me go to...
Say something to them in Tree.
All right, so the American, say, my driver for, your driver for Ghana, your best friend say, Mode Kwanso Kusen, Shishani, ebe ye Juma, baby, and say, communicantente, but modern yamen communicantente, baby, and say, Usan will be home, and also men conco, yes, who say a Juma now, once who a Juma or far to so out there at the ball, bra, dear Jumanini, ne Jumanon so in Uni, or passenger phones or mobet now, Camunon, Diomuni, no Munsun Diuni, kasa be pie free wanum e de akere passenger no eno na e be kire onipa su a wonso oye e be sere mo se mo nso a yento ahyentuabo mu a na mo de mo penso eje ebu bi ense ne mfata no mo nyina mo be jai na mo de mra ne nhihye a ye nyina ya hihye no e be ye adwuma. So then I'll go to
our almighty government.
Almighty government, to the government, please. The roads is our major challenge. Yes, government, we are pleading with you to make sure that our roads are, fixed, our roads are maintained, and then also, the spare parts and the lubricant and the other, component, they are also killing us. So we are pleading to the spare part, we are pleading with the trade ministry to make sure that, they talk to them for them also to reduce, their staffs, so that we will not also be forced to increase our transport. And likewise, the fuel prices too. Government should do something about it to make sure that fuel will not go up to the extent that we also come up to increase our transport fares.
Thank you. Viewers, this has been very interesting. GPRTU story shows us that the strength of a union is not only in its numbers, but it is in its ability to keep society moving. As we have heard today, the roads may change, the vehicles may be modernized, but the need for the representation, fairness, and dignity remains constant. I say a big thank you to Mr. Samuel Amoah for coming to our studio. We are most grateful, and we hope to invite you to our studios any time again to come and tell us more about transport development in our nation, Ghana. Let me also extend my gratitude to Clock TV management, and more especially to the production crew, Henry Mensah, the producer, Joseph, Andy, Joel, and all other supporting staff. This has been your host, Edmond Akwe, and I leave you with this labor quote. Transportation is the center of the world. It is the glue to our daily lives. When it goes well, we don't see it. But when it goes wrong, it negatively colors our day, makes us feel angry, and curtails our responsibilities. This is by Robbie Chase. This has been Walatu Walasa, where labor speaks, history lives. Work hard, stay focused, be productive, and don't break the rules. See you again next week. Bye-bye.
Walasa.